Our eighth presenter, Paula Zito from the Adelaide Law School, and her topic is food, origin, regionality, culture. Paula.
How many of you have bought food products that are labelled with regional names such as Adelaide Hills or Barossa Valley, assuming that the food has some connection with those named regions? Well, you are not alone. Regional branding involves branding food products with the names of regions that have a reputation for producing quality regional food and infuses food with elements of origin, regionality and culture that many consumers are willing to pay more for, assuming that regionally branded food is authentic regional food made using locally sourced ingredients and better quality than food that is branded on a country of origin basis such as made in Australia. However, the reality is that in many instances, regionally branded food has no connection with the name regions. I carried out original fieldwork in the South Australian regions of Barossa Valley and Adelaide Hills that disclosed a significant dissatisfaction among food producers and food industry representatives with current Australian laws dealing with regional branding. Current laws do not adequately govern whether there is an actual and real connection between food and origin before regional branding is attached to food. My fieldwork disclosed a real need for legal change in this area, which is where the next part of my research becomes particularly important. I evaluated the worthiness of using food geographical indications on food labels under a legal food geographical indication system, given that the central purpose of geographical indications is to legally protect and enforce the connection between goods and origin. In fact, Australia already has a wine geographical indication system that legally protects and regulates the connection between wine and origin. This is why we cannot call sparkling wine made in Australia champagne, because our sparkling wine has no connection with the French region Champagne, where champagne is made using locally sourced grapes, processes and methods. So why not have a similar legal system to protect the connection between Australian regional food and origin? Well, to answer that question, I carried out extensive fieldwork on food geographical indication systems in Italy, because Italy has been operating under such a system since 1992 and has the highest number of food geographical indication registrations in Europe. From my Italian fieldwork, I made observations on the costs, risks and benefits involved with the food geographical indication system. And in my research, I make recommendations on how such a system can be tailored to cater for Australia's national and international food trade and legal needs and obligations, as well as the elements required for an effective system. I recommend that a food geographical indication system would be an extremely worthwhile investment for Australian food industry and trade.
Thank you, that was wonderful.
Thanks,
Have
Sarah.
you looked at perceptions internationally of Australian foods and what the impact would be on international exports?
Well, more and more consumers are seeking out locally sourced food and wanting to know where food comes from. And from an international perspective, especially in Europe, they're already on top of geographical indications and the value that that can add to food. So there is quite a real interest and need in this area. There's currently international agreements being negotiated that deal with geographical indications, and I think that given some of our neighbouring countries that are particularly interested in food geographical indications, Australia does need to look at getting some new laws in place to bring this system into effect. Thanks, Kara.